After being scammed by multiple platforms, I finally switched to futures. Yes, Forex platforms have scammed me multiple times. Overall, in payouts now, it's been over 32K. So I finally decided that it's time to switch to futures. And when I switched to futures, I actually went to Alpha Futures and Top Step. I bought 3 accounts so far, two with Alpha Futures and one with Top Step. And now I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown of how it's actually going, and it's only been 3 days since I made that switch, and I've already passed 100K in perform challenges with Alpha Futures. I'm funded 100K, and I'm currently in a trade with another 50K on Top Step. So let's get into it. I'm pretty sure you guys see the last post I made where I said I quit Forex. Yes, I did. We finally switched to futures, and this is how I got funded. Literally 100K in what, like 3 days? 150K actually in like 3 days of trading futures. So let's get into it. Let's start off with Alpha Futures. So I started with Alpha Futures. I didn't entirely go with Top Step. I have an account on Top Step, so I'll break that down as well. But started off with Alpha Futures. Go right here. You can see, you can go to the billing details. I bought 2 accounts with Alpha Futures. The start date was, one of them was the 17th. I bought one on the 17th and one on the 18th. As you can see, same thing with the subscription date. And I passed both of them on the 19th, which is today, Friday. I'll do a breakdown of that trade as well. So this is the certificate that they give you when you pass, and obviously I got two because I passed two different accounts. Well, two same size accounts, and they gave me the contract to sign. And obviously I went with the account that has no activation fee. The reason why I went to the one with no activation fee is because if you know you're gonna pass, I don't see the sense for me to buy an account with activation fee. So first I purchase the account, then I have to pay activation fee. That makes no sense to me. So obviously, I know more than likely I'm gonna pass because I know how to trade. It's common knowledge. Futures is not that different after like literally trading it is basically the same thing. So that's that. Pass that account. Now we're funded 100K with Alpha Futures. I'm just waiting for them to verify the KYC. Yes, I do have an account on Top Step. So this is the account on Top Step. I'm already up 150K. And now the trade, I made 150K yesterday. And now the trade that I'm in, I'm up $1,049. So I'm still holding this trade. Obviously, you guys know I'm an intraday trader. I'm not a scalper. I used to swing trade, but I'm an intraday trader. So obviously, I'm going to be holding my trade from the beginning to the end of the day. So we're still holding this trade. I did move my stop loss up a little bit. Move it right here now underneath. This is the low to be exact. So I want to keep it under this low, but it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. So if price does come all the way down here and stop us out, we'll still get out with $541. And you can see my entry was at this area of interest before the strong bullish move happened. So let me go down to the lower time frame. That's my entry right there. So that's that. But overall, good day. Surprising. December is actually moving really fast, so I can't complain. But let me give you guys a breakdown of the trade that we took to actually make this 4K to pass both accounts because I wasn't drawdown on the Alpha Futures prop firm at first. So this is the trade I took. I took this trade from NAS 100. Obviously, if you guys don't know, I trade based off exhaustion, supply and demand, Fibonacci levels, what EMAs. Obviously, I use my exponential and my smart EMA. So that's just literally it. So let's get a little bit into it. So obviously we're gonna start off on the higher time frame. That's always the main thing. Looking at the higher time frame, I look for my overall bias. In this case, my bias was bullish, so we can start from our swing low to our swing high. That's the way you draw your fibs, and we can see that price gave us a little bit below a 61.80% retracement. But going down to the 4 hour time frame, we can see we had a strong demand at this area of interest right here. So we can see that's exactly where price came back to gain support from. But now go down a little bit down to a lower time frame like our 4 hour. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, I did mark off a few exhaustion to our left. So you can see right here we had multiple exhaustion in this area of interest. Or if you guys want to call it support or resistance, supply or demand, it's literally the same thing. Same thing right here. We had resistance, support, support, support. So if I notice at this area of interest I'm having a lot of support, obviously I know that more than likely price is going to respect this area of interest. Now, when I mark up these key levels on my higher time frame, I want to go down to my lower time frame. So this is where I go down to my 1 hour time frame, and I pay a lot of attention to structure. So looking at market structure, we can see that we were making lower lows and lower highs, and more that off, so you guys can see. a little better. You can see we were making nice lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, still lower, yeah, and then equal low. So at this point is where I start to become interested in taking the trade. We can see that we made an equal low, price failed to create a new low, which means more than likely buyers are gonna potentially take over, sellers are getting exhausted. That's why we go based off exhaustion or support and resistance. Same thing as supply and demand. Now we can fine tune our overall trading idea. We can look to our left. We can see a nice little supply zone right here, which now is going to act as a flip zone. It's going to act as what demands, because obviously we're going based off supply and demand. We see we had sellers came here right at this exhaustion. Buyers stepped in right here. Buyers again. Sellers, buyers. And I'm just breaking it down in a basic level because I know a lot of people that will be watching the video are somewhat kind of beginner traders. If you guys want me to go a little bit more technical or advanced, I can break it down a little bit more, but I have to do it basic for the people who just start trading. So obviously we had multiple support and resistance at this area of interest. So this is where I was interested in taking the trade. So the moment 8:30 hit, I waited for a few seconds, and you can, if not even 8:30, a little bit before actually, I entered right here. Go down to 1 minute because I pay a lot of attention to the 1 minute time frame, and this is where I entered at 8:28. Right at that entry. The reason I put my stop loss underneath this area is because that's going to be your 61.80. If you notice, price did not go to the 61.80. That again tells me that there's a lot of buyers, meaning we had a shallow retracement. A shallow retracement is normally a 23.60% level, but I still consider even my 38.20 to be shallow. That's just the honest truth. And it's still shallow because we barely even had a 50% retracement. So that's the overall idea. Yes, I do use trend line. I know it's a little bit cliche, a lot of people don't like it, but it does act as support and resistance as well. So they put my trend line as well. We can see I had my trend line at this area of interest, and looking at that trend line as well, you can see you had multiple support, little bit of exhaustion around here, but still support, and price came right back at that trend line and acted as support. Now, if you notice in this area we have the second trend line, and put it in red for you guys, you can see in red right here, we still had support, multiple exhaustion acting as resistance, support right here. And if you go down to your lower time frame, you can see price retrace. When price push on US 30, price retrace and gain support right back off that same trend line. These are things you have to keep in mind. Every single candlestick tells a different story, so you have to pay attention to the candlestick. Every 1 minute, every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, every 50 minutes, every 30 minutes, every candlestick matters. And I know some people they don't focus on the lower time frame, or some people they don't focus on the high time frame. Me personally, I focus on all time frame because I want to understand what's going on every single time frame before and after I take my trade. So that's the overall general idea, and that's just a basic breakdown of the trade we took to make the 4K to pass the account and make the 1,500 to pass this account on Top Step. So what's that? That's literally in 3 days we're basically funded 150K, and even if, and that's 100K guaranteed already. This one on Top Step, I mean obviously TP hasn't hit us yet. I'm looking for momentum to kick back in around lunchtime, so around 12 o'clock. But if not, I'm gonna close before market rollover anyways. Our market close, not rollover, because it's Friday. So that's a beautiful trade. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was gonna be a bit different or weird trading futures, but it's literally the exact same thing. If you can do basic maths, as I said before on TikTok, if you can do basic math, it's literally the exact same thing with the contract size. It's no different. So if you're thinking about switching to futures, probably this is your sign to switch to futures. If you already have good relationship with prop firms out there like CFD prop firms, fine, you can trade your CFD perform, but it's always good to try something else. That's the reality. And who knows? A lot of traders that would actually be better off trading futures than trading on a CFD perform because they literally have no spread. There's no spreads, nothing. It's crazy, bro. So that's really good. I do have good relationship with firms like Funding Pips, Alpha Capital, and so on. I've had payouts with them multiple times, so that's good as well. I will trade with them in the future, but right now I'm just focusing mainly on futures. But that's a quick breakdown of how I was funded 150K after literally just switching to futures.
it took literally 3 days. That's crazy, bro. But let's see how this journey goes. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm Akeem FX, and I'm out.